Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Okay, parents, you've survived 2 a.m. feedings, temper tantrums, back to school blues. So what's next? You have a teenager, and that's a word that seems to scare just about everybody.
That's right. It's a time of intense growth for kids and often confusion for families. So here to help us survive the teenage years is Dr. Beth Johnson, a clinical psychologist and clinic director of Lakefront Wellness Center. She's here along with Julie Bonas with the St. Joan of Arc School Advisory Board. Thanks for being here, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
So why do we want to understand the mind of a middle schooler, and how do we do that?
Oh my goodness, just everything you just said. So perfect. You know, this basically came out of parent interest. I'm a mom of 4 kids. 3 of them are in middle school and or have just recently gotten out of middle school.
Whoa.
And I think I have bruises still.
Right.
Trying to figure it all out, and just when I thought I had it, something changed. I found myself looking for the owner's manual, checking the recall list. Maybe they're supposed to be returned, right? You know, you think about everything a middle schooler has to go through. They have multiple teachers now. They have no longer a mom and dad signing off on that assignment notebook. They are going to different rooms, different workload, different responsibilities. Teachers ask you to back away a little bit. Let the middle schooler develop.
Well, and just the changes their bodies are going through too.
Everything.
On top of all of that, I mean, is really, I think, sort of alarming to some of them, not knowing exactly what to expect. Even though I think, you know, health, human growth, and development, all those kind of units do a lot. There's still a lot going on that they don't understand.
Absolutely, and that's why we wanted to really ourselves understand this topic so we can parent them better. So I began to ask parents in the community, and I realized I was onto a hot topic. People were very interested in this, and I went to look for resources. As the president of our advisory board, I wanted to bring something to our parents, and that's when I received a reference for Dr. Beth Johnson and Lakefront Wellness.
Yeah.
And we've been working on this topic now, and we're looking forward to presenting it, but there is a lot of information that we never ever expected.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be a better parent because of it.
See, that's going to perk up parents' ears hearing that. I'm going to be a better parent because of it. Because I truly think, whether it's talking to my mom or other parents that I know, every parent feels like they're doing it wrong. They don't feel like they're screwing up their kids or something, you know? So how, Dr. Johnson, do you help parents understand middle schoolers better?
Well, you are right. We are prepared for the body changes and the, you know, the throat and the raspy voices that the boys have, and the acne and the oily hair and all that comes with the external changes, but we're not really in tune to the brain changing. That is new information unless you really like to study medical journals.
How is the brain changing?
It's changing in size and shape. So there's wonderful things happening. The brain is downloading new circuitry during adolescence over about a 10-year period. It starts at puberty, about 10 years old, and the brain starts pruning synapses, cutting back on things. And it starts becoming more efficient, but it's not efficient yet. And the brain of a teenager thinks very differently than a child, and it thinks very differently from an adult. It's kind of in an in-between stage.
Can you give an example of how it's different than a child, and maybe one example of how it's different than an adult, so the parents can understand the differences?
Absolutely. A child is actually better at recognizing faces than a middle schooler. And the middle schooler is not as good as an adult. So we call that in the literature a pubertal dip, that there's a period of time where the teen is not good at some things. And it's actually the time when they really need to be good at things. They're changing schools, there's new faces, different teachers for every hour. And so some of the deficits that we see in teenagers, like self-centeredness, they're not as good as adults at reading emotion or assigning emotion. They use different parts of the brain to see the same thing. So fear on a face will activate a different part of the brain in a teenager than an adult. So it's very different, and that's the piece that we don't factor in when we're looking at our teen and having expectations that they act like an adult.
Or that they have empathy even.
Right.
Yeah.
They can't always do it, and so we get annoyed. They're physically grown. We've been teaching them manners and how to be empathic and helpful, and they don't get it yet, and we're frustrated, and we think they're going to always be like this. They're going to grow up and be selfish or slobby or lazy, but their brain isn't done downloading yet, and we need to be patient.
Well, I think we could sit here and talk to you for an hour. We ran out of time, but I'm going to make sure everybody's got the information for the event that you're doing, because this is where you can truly learn more about even the difference between adolescent angst and things that are more serious by understanding the mind of a middle schooler. It's going on Wednesday the 9th at 6:30 at St. Joan of Arc Parish School in Nashotah. So here's the website. You can find more. It's sjarc.org for more information on that event. Very fascinating. Thanks,
That is
ladies.
very interesting. Thanks, both of you, so much.
Appreciate it.